Well, what about like the prioritization of things? You know, I know that center back and the wing back positions have been spoken about a lot, but a
Mm.
lot of this is like center backs are more like your starting 11, but your wing backs are more of like, you know, rotational options for Chilwell and maybe Reece James. What about midfield and the
But
attack? Like
you,
those positions, that's addressing your literal starting 11 that needs to be improved. Do you have like kind of worries that you're going to spend maybe 70 million on Fofana, 50 million on, you know, Cucurella, and then you still have
It's
more
nearly
to do.
200
You
million
can't
on
go
a
in.
defense.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't honestly believe like if we focus on the money, we're gonna be here forever. Like the money isn't
Mm.
actually the problem. It's whether those investments are worth the player that you're getting, and that's what it comes down to. No one will be complaining about Maguire for 80 million if Maguire was performing to the level of the
Mm-hmm.
player that you expected to get. It's the same with any big money signing. Like, so I'm not necessarily bothered about the finances. I'm not an accountant. I'm not working for the club as an accountant. I don't do it. I
But you
don't
can
deal with
only
it.
spend so much, though. Like that's the reality. I mean, you
Of
guys
course,
have lots of funds,
definitely,
but you can only spend so
definitely.
much,
But you said
struggling to
something.
sell at the same time as
But
well. So it's
you
kind
said
of like, what are you
you
gonna do?
said something that was so key though, where it's like you look at a player in Cucurella, where one of the biggest reasons or biggest things that Chelsea fans were saying last year, myself included, with our creativity coming from our wing backs, with our creativity coming from players in those half spaces, when Chilwell and Reece James weren't about, we just weren't the same team, and everyone could see that. And yes, it was an excuse,
Mm.
definitely an excuse, but it was a valid excuse, and we had to point that out. So having
So
Cucurella,
you
especially,
maybe so would you say that like in priority wise, like getting another wing back so that that position doesn't fall back when you don't have your number
yeah,
ones is
yeah,
more important than getting more depth or better quality in the center of midfield because you have Jorginho, Conte, Kovacic, you're good with
I
that.
think I think centre midfield is the last issue. Fair enough. Some
Got
people
it.
have things where they want Declan Rice, they want Frankie De Jong. Look, Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante are a good three to go into a season with again. I just that's my personal opinion. Some people will disagree with me, but that is the least of our concerns right now. I do think
Mm.
the attack. Last point, I do think the attack and definitely the defense. So if you want to include the wing backs as the defenders, are the areas of improvement first.
But
Yeah.
wait, Daniel, would you say Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho, as of now,
Yes,
are the
they
correct?
are. Yes,
No,
they
but
are.
with Kante and Kovacic's
They are
injury,
quality
the
midfielders.
golfing class. Once you bring on the Barclays and Loftus-Cheek, the golfing class is quite big. So I would say that's an area you still need to address.
The golfing class, though, in every midfield. We spent the season listening to Liverpool fans say that when Henderson comes into the side, the golfing class between Henderson and the starting midfield is poor. We literally spent the whole season saying that when Lukonga comes into the Arsenal side, the golfing class between him and the guys that start is poor. We literally spent a whole season talking about Tottenham side, where Harry Winks or Oliver Skip has to come in. The golfing class is poor. We literally spent a whole season where we spoke about the Man United side, where it's even the starting players, Bruno Fernandes and Pogba, is poor. They didn't even have a golfing class to talk about. So for
I
me,
know,
what we
but
are
you
saying,
guys are trying
no, no,
to
no, no, no.
compete with the two teams that are trying to win
Hold
the
on.
titles. You
I
can't
get
use
that.
Manchester
I get
United, Spurs,
that.
and Arsenal as
One
your
sec.
benchmark.
You're using
One
lesser
sec.
teams just there.
Listen. I use the top six as an example, and I think it's valid. The reason why I say we are, and I've already said it. So if you want me to say it again, I was wrong in thinking that we were ready to win the league last year. So for me, when I look at the team
Clip
that we have
it. I love that.
right,
I
when I
can't
look
lie, I
at
was with you, Daniel. I
Because
can't
last
lie.
season you said your depth and quality was the same as
yeah,
Manchester
no,
City. I
I
swear
did,
you.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But I actually think, again, I've said this for a while about Chelsea. I don't think certain areas of the pitch are as bad as people are making.
Exactly, they're not. They're actually
And
not.
the one thing that I was critical of Chelsea of the back end of last season is they started to become a little bit too easy to break down and score against. And Thomas Tuchel clearly wants to build a team that is resolute, strong at the back, hard to break down. And the Todd Bowley being like messy, no strategy, I think it's been blown out of proportion. I think the only thing that's messy is his control of the media. Unlike a lot of the clubs being repped on this panel tonight, Chelsea's controlling the narrative in terms of what stories have let leak out and what they've allowed to be said has been crazy. Liverpool are the best at it. They let nothing out, but they're going around talking to multiple clubs, multiple players in the same way as everybody. Spurs have got Pedicic. That man is renowned for literally going, right, boom, 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 boom. It goes after multiple players at once so we can get the right people. Todd Bowley's just been a little bit too brash, a little bit too American, a little bit too noisy. But you actually listen to what's being said. Tuchel suggested Koulibaly, but said, you're not going to be able to get him, though. He's going to be too difficult to get. Done. Oh, I really like Raheem Sterling. Probably can't get him, though. Todd Bowley went and got it done. And I think for me, that's what really stands out as being impressive, is that they've landed players that Tuchel didn't expect, and they're players that Tuchel wants. So I'm Chelsea, they may not look that prepared for the beginning of the season, but I think it's a madness to absolutely write them off. And on Cucurella, when City were going to spend, being reported to spend 50 million.
It was the best signing in the world.
No, everybody's, oh my God, when they add him in, they're complete. No one can compete. Chelsea is suddenly linked with him. And I know we've asked the question. People are moaning at the polls up there, but now it's like, oh, is he really worth it? Will he improve Chelsea? What will he really bring? I'm like, hang on a minute. No one was questioning Pep Guardiola.
Can I add to that, please? And the reason why I say that as well, and this is to Chelsea fans as well, is that if Cucurella even had or started badly playing in that Man City side, first thing everyone was going to say is that, oh yeah, first year Pep tax.
But Daniel, you need to understand for certain players and teams, it's normal because City go out there and spend 50 to 60 million pounds on players all the time.
Please tell me, what would the excuse be this season if Grealish doesn't have the season everyone expects him to have?
There is none.
There will be no excuse.
There'll be no excuse. There'll be no excuse. Pep needs one more year because Pep is a genius. Just one more.
That's it.
It makes sense though for those types of players.
How?
Pep's a very specific manager who likes to build his players into his system. So they often don't just come into the team and settle. Players like Bernardo Silva was one of a kind who came into Pep's team and just took over the team.
Are you going to give Haaland 1 year to settle into Pep's system?
Yes. I don't think Haaland's going to do great this season. I don't think he's going to score 20 goals, what people think. I think he's going to need time to settle in. I don't. I think he's going to need time to settle into the Pep system, just like any player would. And Cucurella, the reason no one would have brushed an eye at 50 million is because City have spent 50 million on pretty much every one of the players in that starting 11. No one cares about City spending 50, especially when he's going to go in and be the starter for them. For Chelsea, the question is whether he's a starter already, and you've already got a 50 million pound left back there.
I promise you, Cucurella plays, and especially in a World Cup year or World Cup half a year, obviously because it's December, plays more between August and December for Chelsea than he would if he went Man City.
I mean, he starts for Chelsea. Like he starts for Chelsea and he starts for Manchester City. Like he's better than outside of the top six. And if we really get down to it, he might be better than some of our left backs, but
he's better than United.
Top. He's so good. Like he's gonna start. Chilwell.
Sorry, but at City you've got Cancelo and
you've got Walker.
Cancelo's
right.
Cancelo is a right back though. I think Cucurella will play on the left.
Sorry, Jay, but I'm sorry, but Cucurella is like the best fullback in the history of the Premier League was Dennis Irwin because he was actually a right back that played at left back and was seen for 10 years as the best left back in the country. And I've always said this. I think Ashley Cole's amazing, but Ashley Cole had been a world class if he was playing right back for 10 years. Don't know, didn't do it, but literally that's how good he was. Cucurella is that good. Cucurella, the reason why I rate him as an overall footballer is better than Trent is because Trent can do what he does on the left-hand side. Cucurella can do it on both. That makes you maybe not a better right back, it makes you a better footballer.
Cancelo.
Yeah. Cancelo, sorry. Did I say Canelo, the boxer? Sorry.
Cucurella. Yeah, you meant
Sorry. My brain don't always work.
I was like, what?
But the point I'm making is I think he's an excellent player. And I was saying, wow, City are getting a star. I'm just not one of these people that sees him then linked to a different club and suddenly starts to change my mind.
He's not a star anymore.
I've always disliked that kind. I don't know. For me, it's just like dry banter.
The reality though is people questioning whether or not he's worth 50 million or not.
I think
Manchester City question it as well because they wouldn't go up. So
I
think it's a valid argument. They did. They don't want to spend 50 million on him. That's why he's not going.
The value is different. Like I think
they don't believe that he's worth 50 million.
The way City works is they typically don't spend what like teams ask, which is really weird. It pisses me off. But they do get players for deals when they need to. It's weird. They do. Like
I think that they got another target out there that they believe is going to be better.
I'm true, and I stay in the camp. Like I actually think Cucurella is good for either side. I'm not going to say I think if he goes to Chelsea he's going to be bad or whatnot. I just stay in the camp and I stick to what I said earlier. I don't think if Chelsea puts the money up, that City won't say, "All right, cool, we're going to grab him." That's all. I truly think that the players head set there. That's just where my opinion.
Do you know what it is? And I hear that, and I fully agree. And I even tweeted. I said, La Masia Barcelona linked player, and we're going for him.
Pepper's the
think-
manager.
Are Barcelona
as well.
not?
You
Are
just
Barcelona
need
not
them.
linked with him as well now?
No,
Barcelona.
I will say this though. Well, I will say this. I mean, I know City have come out. It's been quite credibly reported that they won't go above 40 million. But if City were to come back in now and
got him,
He's got 88 there.
I think Chelsea fans would just sign off now until the season starts, because if you lost another one that in that way, that I think the
And
pain for Chelsea fans would be
It's
far too
also
much.
as well, like losing. I think losing to Barcelona 3 times, as bad as it looks or sounds, as funny and da da da. At the end of the day, there's only 2 other clubs with as good a pool as Barcelona, and that's Manchester United and Real Madrid in terms of legacy and how big the club is. So when I look at it, losing to Barcelona in the transfer window because of the pool, it's not bad. It's if we lost Cucurella, because I've not even fully tapped into the signing yet, because there's still a part of me that doesn't think it's going to happen. And losing to Man City would be bad. That would be a
But to be fair, you wouldn't be losing. So this is what bothers me with the whole
you
hijack.
would. Obviously,
He was in first.
I
City was in
know.
first. You're not losing to them. They just would go back in and get him, I think.
We actually are. There's no way of looking at it.
No,
Really? Okay.
No, you do.
They lose out. That's the way I want to think about it.
It's losing out. I'll tell you why it's losing out. If you're in a 100-meter race, right, and me and you are racing, you're leading, Callum, the whole way. We get 60 meters in, and then I overtake you, and with five meters to go, I'm winning, and then you go back in front of me. I lost the race.
I mean, yeah, it's likely to happen too if we do race.
It probably will. I'm pretty quick, you know. I'm pretty quick. Not nowadays. I drink too much and I eat too much. You know what I mean? And get into scraps of dormant casinos. But other than that, I'm all good. I'm all good.